We've just set sail on the biggest ocean crossing we'll undertake in our Australian circumnavigation.
It's by far one of the toughest legs you could do in Australia, and particularly in the direction we're heading. That was about 35 knots just then.
With a prevailing easterly, which is where we want to go, we've had to wait for a low pressure system to roll its way around the bottom of the globe. It needed to be big and strong enough to temporarily disrupt the easterly winds and provide us with a west-southwest wind for enough time for us to get across before the easterlies settle back in. This thing is apparently not far behind us at all. We estimated this unavoidable voyage would be just over 600 nautical miles, and we're now just about smack bang in the middle of crossing the Great Australian Bight, the massive chunk missing from the bottom of Australia. It stretches well over 1,000 kilometres, and there is nowhere for us to pull over as this ocean meets nothing but sky-soaring cliffs that stretch as far as the eye can see.
Might put 1 or 2 washboards in.
Here. Hundreds of miles from those cliffs, Nakama, our 34-foot 1980s sailboat, is shooting us along. We've got 2 reefs in the main, but yeah, we're still making about 6 knots. Our plan of riding the system has worked so far. It's been a little wild and the swell height is now approximately 4.5 meters, but we've been flying. Yeah, that was a gust and a half. However, our luck of this brisk but smooth sailing is just about spent.
Today's actually going to be what we assume will be the toughest day of the trip.
But the second half of this crossing doesn't get any less exciting.
Reef in, reef out, reef in, reef out.
As we cross into South Australia and tackle the most challenging miles of our trip with unfavourable winds.
Simon's super asleep. I'm stuck on the helm. Hey babe.
And our autopilot failing us.
I just figured we may as well just stop and figure this out.
Forcing us to heave to for repairs.
Oh, I don't know where to begin. I woke up because Soph was screaming at me.
Babe!
But these trials and tribulations is what makes for that overwhelming sense of achievement when you overcome it all.
Land ho!
There's nothing quite like the feeling that we're experiencing right now, so. At this point in time though, land is still days away.
Good morning, it's day 3 after we've just finished our 3rd night out here.
We're a bit out of whack after departing for this crossing at 8 o'clock at night. Yeah, it's an odd time to be leaving the anchorage and setting sail, I guess. It's been a little confusing for someone who doesn't have a maths brain. Welcome to day 3? Day 3! But it is officially 60 hours since we left, and we're up to the point in the weather forecast where the wind is slowly swinging back through to the east.
We just spent the night battling the increasingly easterly twang to the breeze. Today's actually going to be what we assume will be the toughest day of the trip. We may have to sort of head into the bight following this wind and then waiting on a northeasterly, which should hopefully be coming tomorrow, where we can make up for what we lost today.
As the low pressure system that's well south of us continues to track east, its influence on the wind where we are is fizzling out. Not only with the strength of the wind, which is why we're having to shake out our second reef, but it's also influencing the direction of the wind. Yeah, we've just shaken out that reef, that second reef. We've just got one in now. Wind sort of eased today and also swung southeasterly. We're sort of heading in a more northwards direction, which isn't ideal, but we knew this was going to happen. So we're heading northwards somewhat. Oh, and also we're officially in South Australia now. South Australia, eh? This is it. Welcome to South Australia. I know the border is just an imaginary line. The ocean doesn't change much from Western Australia to South Australia, but yeah, it's cool knowing that we've crossed the border nonetheless. Ticking off another state in our lap is always an exciting thing, especially Western Australia. We've been here for a long time.
Western Australia!
I still can't believe this! We made it!
Mostly because it has the longest coastline of any other state at 3,000 nautical miles.
I think right about now we're getting a taste for really what we've signed up for. This coastline's
so big, but also because it's been by far the most challenging coast we've sailed yet in Australia. Questioning why we don't have a block of land with about 5 chickens. This west coast has been a slog, and we've spent a lot of time waiting for weather windows to make jumps, and most of the time a good weather window looked like this. It's been a challenge, but within the state, we have also experienced the absolute highlights of our journey, from red cliffs, crocodiles and raging waters, to islands, coral reefs and hands full of crayfish.
Woohoo! WA!
But would we sail it again? Probably not. So bring on South Australia. Boy, are Slim's legs ready for it.
Wow. It's actually quite cold this morning. Simon's pretty brave just wearing his undies right now.
I'll just woke up. I don't like going slow. We didn't shake a reef out, so it's like, I've only got time for undies, let's get this boat moving.
I think I'm gonna go make some banana pancakes. I feel like it's a banana pancake. That's what you get. Passage pancakes. There you go.
Passage pancakes in bed. Spoiled rotten. Pretty good. We still had some only moderately off yogurt too, which is really nice. Just a little bit off.
It's got a nice tingle to it, doesn't it?
It's just more yogurty, I guess.
It's coconut yogurt, so it's not like gonna kill us.
I'm gonna die. I nearly died once from eating yogurt, but that's a story for another day.
A routine has somewhat formed in our days out here. In the morning, we have a few small chores to get out of the way. Most excitingly, it's cooking some brekkie.
One sec, gotta sneeze. I'm back.
And at one point, we'll make radio contact with Miles, who is also out here with us.
Sorry, man. Sneeze into the radio for you.
But another chore, not so excitingly, is to stay on top of the water in our bilges that has a habit of getting in through our anchor winch. Nothing to concern about, but we do want to keep on top of it.
It's so funny how the ocean can have such different moods. Feels like an entirely different beast to yesterday.
That was a wet one.
The last 2 nights actually we've just been bunking inside with the weatherboards in and only really popping up to make quick changes to the sails and then getting back inside, but it's actually quite pleasant outside at the moment, albeit we are heading slightly in the wrong direction, but we're still heading forward, so it's okay.
While moving forward, we do know we're going to continue getting pushed further and further north as this wind swings from a southeasterly to just an easterly, and we don't want to end up too far north. Our touchdown point in South Australia is still undecided.
Have we told you guys that we don't actually know really where we're going?
But we are leaning more towards trying to get to the Port Lincoln area. So we're keeping a keen eye on our progress, such as the wind's direction and the degree it has us steering to, as when that wind comes more east and we point more north, we will need to tack.
I think we're going to try and tack.
We tacked, but the course we're now on basically has us backtracking. Maybe it was too early of a call, but This is when we decided that tonight isn't going to be fun no matter what we do. So we made the decision to get the head sail away and turn on that noisy mechanical system we call an engine. Tonight we'll be trying our best to punch into the wind.
We tacked before and we're heading basically backwards just because of the wind angle. So we figured let's just try and motor into it until it changes. I'm not in my finest state right now. I've got a hole in my shirt, but that's alright. So yeah, currently bashing into it, somewhat making our course. It's not that pleasant. It's never really pleasant when you're bashing into it like this, especially with the engine on, but we figured we may as well be making slow forward progress instead of quick backwards progress. So that's what we're doing.
Just going to go check everything on deck's all good now that we are punching directly into 20 knots. The better part of the swell is it's not behind us, but it's on our beam, which is nice. But we unfortunately do have inevitably 20 knots worth of wind shock. Hopefully I don't get soaked.
This was the least enjoyable night out here. There's nothing worse than sleeping to the noise of the engine and the pounding of the boat punching into swell. But by the early hours of the morning, conditions slowly became more favourable again.
It's been a hell of a night trying to just punch into it really, but finally the wind has swung just enough that we may be able to get an angle and do some sailing in an appropriate direction. So it's blowing just over 20 knots, so we're going to go put the second reef back in, get a little bit of head sail out and see if we can turn this bloody engine off while making some ground. Sails are up. We're now doing about 5.5 to 6 knots pretty consistently. It's a lot more comfy, it's less bangy. We were slamming pretty hard for a while there. And oh, it's a little bit quieter. Still getting thrown against the walls though. What are you doing?
Just observing. It's pretty wild. It's like 20 to 25 knots, like right on the nose, so you know, it's pretty fun.
The WA special.
It's the WA special.
In South Australia.
I know. When will it end? Never.
Anyway, Soph's watch. That's me for a while. I'm gonna go sleep. Alright, night.
It felt good to be sailing again. The wind was only swinging more and more to the north, which gave us an increasingly good angle. But with one small win, we came into another challenge.
Well, for some reason, the autopilot's not working, apparently. Simon's sleeping. It's sort of the first time he's slept all night, so I don't really know what quite to do just yet. I just thought I'd hand steer, just let him sleep for a little bit longer.
The autopilot just wasn't engaging. So for the moment, I was stuck on the helm whilst trying to yell down the companionway to wake up Slim.
Hey babe. Baby. Alright, so Simon's super asleep. Whenever he falls asleep after he hasn't like slept in a long time, he just passes out and he's like a rock. I'm stuck on the helm and getting a little bit wet because I didn't even have time to put my jacket on. I think I might just heave us to so I can go wake up Simon and we can just chill for a second and figure out why this pilot's not working. I'm pretty sure it might just be a little loose connection. We've had this problem before. I'm hoping it's the same issue. I'm hoping it's just a little loose connection. We can just go and it will be solved.
Before I heave us to, I tried again and again to wake Slim.
Hey babe. Baby, baby, baby. Babe.
In his defense, he spent the majority of the night up, and this was his first proper sleep.
Hey babe. Simon. Baby. Literally no response. We're gonna heave us to.
So with no response, I went for it. I hove us to so I could leave the helm. But the process of heaving us to was a little bit more alerting for Slim.
I just heaved us to. The pilot stopped working. I just figured we may as well just stop and figure this out. I couldn't wake you up, I was like screaming at you.
If you're not sure, heaving to is a technique to stop the boat. You backwind the head sail and position the rudder back towards the wind, letting the boat come to a near standstill in a controlled manner. This allowed us to have a moment to take a breath and assess the situation.
It's amazing how calm it is when you heave to. Like, honestly, it just feels like we're on anchor right now inside. Was anything like noticeably knocked out? Okay.
With Slim jammed into the coffin we call our shed, he came to a conclusion as to what was going on.
Hello. I just woke up. Oh, I don't know where to begin. Anyway, I woke up because Soph was screaming at me that the autopilot stopped working. But the autopilot's working again. It was the same wire came loose in the computer as last time.
The last time Slim's referring to is when we not only lost our autopilot but also our engine.
Yeah, I'm the only one in the boat with an engine.
Boats, they're so much fun. Anywho, once we got towed to safety, thanks to our awesome friends, we discovered that our darling cat, who nestles into a nook at the back of our quarter berth, had knocked some wires, revealing a weak spot on our autopilot's computer unit. The clip that secures the power supply is faulty, allowing the wire to slip out.
I think Chili's knocked some wires out.
We suspected the same thing had happened again, and we were right.
Soph did so well. Can't believe you do all that. So good. Heaved us too.
And you were just snoozing down here, dude. I was screaming at you.
Oh yeah.
Simon! And all I could hear was like,
oh no. That's so bad. What? Were you going?
yeah. Baby!
It's so. Oh, I only got an hour's sleep last night.
I know. I was like, oh, I'll just hand sit for a little bit, but then I was getting soaked, and I was like, F this.
Why would you
and I was
hand
getting
sit for a little
cold.
bit? To let me sleep.
Well, because I was like, oh, you'll wake up shortly, and then you didn't wake up, and I was like, and I was trying to yell down to you, and you wouldn't wake up, so I was like, I'll just have to like.
That's so. When you woke me up, I was so tired, man.
Alright.
While we're stopped, it was also our chance to do some tidying up and general checks.
It's just an opportunity for us to go check out everything up on deck and make sure everything's looking how it should after a pretty hectic night of slamming down and into and through waves. Yeah, it's been a good little interlude now. It's amazing what you can achieve in like half an hour if you're not on a roller coaster. So yeah, anyway, all sorted, babe?
What?
Sorted?
Yeah, well, I think we're good.
Alright, let's get this boat on the road.
So we got this boat back on the road. Bringing the head sail through, we got Nakama moving at a forward pace. But we're heading in the complete opposite direction to where we want to go. So with some momentum up, we tacked the old girl over towards a more favourable direction for us to make land in the east. The day was shaping up to be a promising one. We tried to get Nakama moving to her full potential, making up for some of the ground that we had just lost while hove to.
Second rank out. We're in it now. Woo! Oh. 250 nautical miles out from the other side. We haven't made too much ground or amazing ground in the last 15 hours. Neither Simon and I had much sleep last night. Simon especially has only slept probably 2 hours or something like that. So yeah, I'm pretty keen to like just get us set up and maybe we can just start snoozing again.
While we were sailing comfortably, the autopilot wouldn't allow us to have a rest as it once again failed on us. So Slim resumed his position wedged into the quarter berth while I took the helm.
Alright, autopilot fixed for the second time.
Until a bit of blue tack was secured and the boat could steer itself once again.
That would have been graceful. Anyway, autopilot's being held together by some blue tack now. Hopefully that works better than not blue tacked, because the first fix without blue tack lasted about 45 minutes. Hopefully with blue tack we can get at least an hour and a half.
The second half of this passage is proving to be a bit more demanding of our energy than the set and forget tactic we took part in during the first few days. But while we haven't been making amazing progress, there have been a few small wins that we can't forget to celebrate.
Woohoo! Who'd have thought that was possible? We are actually heading east. Wow.
The morning kept us busy with autopilot troubles and reefing sails in and out. Until the cloud began clearing, the wind began easing and all the reefs could be shaken out.
It has turned into such a beautiful day today. All the clouds have somewhat cleared. The sun's out, the sky is blue, the wind is light. We're making semi-decent progress. It's beautiful out here.
Slim, myself, and Chili welcomed the sunshine and lighter winds with open arms. We felt the boat and ourselves drying out, and we could finally catch up on some rest. At the start of this day, quite a few miles ahead of us was Miles. He had got away from us significantly overnight and with all of our autopilot mishaps. But eventually, there he was.
So after 4 days out here in the Southern Ocean, look who we have just bumped into.
With eased conditions, we crept over to him.
Yoo! He's alive! Yeehaw! How's it going, mate? So good! Yeah. Hey guys! Middle of the boat! Woo!
It was a surreal moment to be so close to Miles after so many days out here. We can't believe how close we've managed to stay to each other throughout this crossing. We spent a little while cruising next to each other, soaking in the sight of a morning song elevating over swell lines. But still more than 24 hours out from touching land, it was time to put some distance between each other.
Righto, we got places to be, that's enough farting around. Let's get into it. Let's get back into it.
How have you been finding this trip?
I've actually really enjoyed it. For me, it's the longest time I've ever spent at sea. It's been really good. I think we've managed it really well. We've decided where we're going to go, actually. We're tentatively, I'll add tentatively in there because the decisions are never set in stone. But I think we're heading for Port Lincoln. It's looking like it will be like a 6-day passage, I believe. Yeah. You see me look up in the corner of the screen. I was looking at Soph for confirmation about how many days we've been out here.
With our course set for Port Lincoln, we anticipated we would have another 2 nights out here, which by this point we felt relaxed about, especially with the most pleasant night we've had yet greet and welcome us into night 5.
Tis a beautiful, beautiful full moon tonight. Still motor sailing along. Things I like sailing is a really clear night where you can look at the stars, and sometimes a lack of moon's awesome then. Or also sailing along again on a clear night with a full moon and you can just see. That's pretty cool too. It's nice being able to be outside for once at night. Like I think we've already mentioned, the first few days of this trip we were just locked up inside with the weatherboards in. Yeah, this is beautiful, a beautiful watch. So, frothing. We'll probably see you guys in the morning. It is day 5 out here on our crossing. We are sailing along really nicely, just under 6 knots actually, after a glorious night of motoring into a glass out. So stoked with how that's panned out. Like we all managed to catch up on some good sleep, and yeah, the wind's finally come in. It's about 9 AM now. Yeah, really hoping we have this wind angle for a while today. If it sticks with us, we'll be really stoked as we make our way into Port Lincoln.
It was our last full day out here.
Today is the last full day we have out here in the Great Australian Bight.
The wind had come back in from the southeast and we were only just making our course by holding as tight to the wind as we possibly could.
We're pretty tight onto it, but sailing well, hitting our course.
It felt like we were on the home run with around 120 nautical miles to go.
It's nice out here. We've had a pretty good crossing. We've had about 15 hours of not so ideal sailing. Apart from that, we've had it pretty good. Don't mind me, my hair is incredibly greasy and I decided to do it like this and I look like I'm about to pour you a pint of German beer. Anyway, it's nice out here. I'm really grateful we've had a good trip so far. The Great Australian Bight, hey? Can't believe it's almost over.
But these last 24 hours weren't going to give us an easy ride.
We're on a bit of a lane at the moment. I think we'll get in a little bit of sail.
The wind built throughout the morning to a good 20 knots. We pushed Nakama more than we normally would to squeeze her up into the wind as much as we possibly could. We were overpowered though, so we debated whether to put a reef in, but not wanting to lose the hold we have on our course, it was a tougher decision than usual.
To reef or not to reef? Generally speaking, if you're having the conversation, you probably should, but I just took all my wet weather gear off. Yeah, so we're having that conversation now. Me, from the comfy confines of here, because I just got out of my wet weather gear, and Soph, with her head out in the wild wilderness in the outside world. To reef or not to reef?
The reason we're able to point so high is because we've got so much sail out and because it's so windy, you know what I mean? That's why we point like 30 degrees basically.
We stewed and we pondered.
So, we've made an unlikely decision not to reef. See if we regret that one later. Put your bets in the comments below. But yeah, we're making the call. We're not reefing.
But with one gust that laid Nakama on her side just that little bit further, that decision lasted all of 2 minutes.
Alright, reefing!
what it's been like for the last months. Months and months.
Well, we are officially under 100 miles out. 98 miles to go. 98.3 miles to go. It's pretty exciting stuff. I think Simon and I are starting to think of where we can get a pub feed. I think we're pretty excited for a cold tap beer and a good pub feed. Simon's over there. Do you want a pub feed?
Yeah. The only problem is deciding which particular pub feed delicacy to choose. But we've got another 20 hours yet to decide, so...
It's hard to believe that the sun is falling on another day out here. We're at the point where the days are beginning to blur together and we're not exactly sure what it is we get done in these days.
Running just a little bit.
But then I guess it's quite the task getting a boat across the ocean. It's been an enjoyable time for us, and it's been a lot of fun having Miles out here with us too.
Good morning, son.
Yo, how you going?
Yeah, not too bad. I was just gonna call to see how you're going, over.
Yeah, I'm going good, except I just accidentally turned off my insurance.
Miles's antics solo aboard his boat is always entertainment. And we're looking forward to enjoying that pub feed with Miles too.
Awesome sail this afternoon, over.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad, although we have been bashing into it more than we would have liked to, but we've literally just eased off a couple of degrees and it's made a world of difference, so we're powering along now, over.
Yeah, nice.
But while we're still a couple of days out from a pub,
It's there when it's not there.
reheated leftovers will hit the spot.
One of the other things we're grateful for when you're leading your way around the house is pre-prepping some meals. So we're doing like a leftover bolognese tonight. Very simple, but it's hearty passage food. And then, yeah, just on some pasta. So having something you can just whack in the pan is really, really handy when you're trying to do it at a 45-degree angle while getting thrown around. So, yeah, anyway, last dinner out here. And just like that, dinner is reheated. I might have a slightly biased opinion, but this is pretty damn good.
It's a yes from me too. So delicious.
It's good, isn't it?
Thank you, Ben. Always providing me with yummy food.
We curled up for another inside dinner, where we spent majority of our time on this passage. We were coming into our 6th night out here, and with the lack of sleep creeping up on us, we started watches before the light had even faded.
No.
But we anticipated that the night might be full of action as we crept closer towards the coastline. It felt different on this last morning as we eagerly awaited seeing our first glimpse of South Australia's coast. The first thing we noticed in getting closer to land was the change in water colour. The rich, deep blue ocean water has turned a cloudy greenish colour, and the big rolling waves were gone, but in their place was a smaller but much sharper sea state. We were tired and our eyes were full of sleep, but there was nothing that would stop us from seeing it.
Well, it's official. We can officially see land on the other side. this enormous bight. It's a bit grey and gloomy out here today. And the water's even changed colour. There she is, somewhere there. Our first glimpse of South Australia, baby. A whole new state. Holy moly, holy moly. How's the water's changed colour too? We're not in the ocean anymore, ever.
We couldn't wait to share our discovery with Miles just in case he hadn't noticed yet that land was finally in front of us.
I look down, I'm like, wait a second. That's land. That's not water. Over.
Did you have a look at that?
Simon just saw the land.
I know, that's sick.
Yeah, we're inching closer to land. We've got probably about 25 miles to go. Pretty close now. It's super early in the morning. Oh, 7 o'clock in the morning. Wow, it does not feel that late. Oh, the engine's going because we couldn't make our course. We're basically just feeding into it now, directly into the wind. It's slowly turned easterly overnight, and that's exactly where we want to go. So we thought, okay, let's turn the engine on and aim to where we want to go. Otherwise, we would have been out here tacking all day. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to just make the last few miles in. Hopefully, should be in 5 to 6 hours time, I guess. Over? I just said over to you because I've just been talking to Miles on the radio. Oh my god. Oh, that's how tired I'm feeling.
While it felt like we didn't have an ounce of spare energy, coming alongside this new coastline got excitement, exhilaration and sheer bliss surging through us.
It's pretty cool! I can't believe we made it! It's kind of grey and miserable today, but it's not putting the dampener on our moods.
Which boosted us with a new energy we didn't know we had. Having this crossing now behind us was a huge, huge weight off our shoulders.
We made it!
We made it!
I'm so grateful that's out of the way.
That was the hardest part of the lap. Everything else is going to be rocket science from here.
It's been like 3 years of anticipation to do that crossing, and woo, it's done.
We feel like all the worry associated with this crossing was wasted, as in reflection, this might have been the best thing we've ever done with the boat.
How was your crossing?
Fun, delightful. Nakima blew me away with how well she performed.
Yeah, this old girl, seriously, the more that we push her and the more that we do on her, we gain so much confidence in her every single time. She's just a solid old girl, and we've just been so impressed with the way that she's handled 4+ meter seas and 30+ knots. It was so comforting to just set her up and close the washboards and know that we were totally safe, and she felt amazing. She handled it so well. So super impressed with this old girl. But yeah, South Australia, guys, this is it.
The last step in our crossing before we can drop the anchor and begin exploring South Australia is to avoid catastrophe while rounding Cape Catastrophe.
Dude, we are in some crazy current here off Cape Catastrophe. I think we know why it's called Cape Catastrophe. You could very easily, perhaps, get into a catastrophe here.
This cape was named by Matthew Flinders in memory of the 8 crew who were lost out of their cutter after it capsized. Lucky for us, the good ship Nakima handled the messy, current-affected waters around the cape. And with only a couple of miles to go, we were on the home stretch to our anchorage.
Behind this headland is our anchorage for this evening. Yeah, hopefully it's nice and protected and beautiful. I mean, this coastline looks beautiful, so. And because this is our anchorage, I think we're gonna call it there, guys. I really hope you enjoyed our bight crossing. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, always helps us out. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. I can't believe that leg of our journey around Australia is complete, it's done. Yeah, pretty stoked. There's nothing quite like the feeling that we're experiencing right now, so. Woo! SA, baby! Good night!
We relieved Nakama's mainsail of her duties.
Woo! It's been flying for a while.
Let's go drop this anchor. It's been a while as well.
And made our way into the anchorage to join Miles.
It's absolutely wild. Miles is already in the bay here. He got in about an hour or so before us. We've been in contact throughout the day, every day, and throughout the night times, every couple of hours on our watches, and just like making sure we sort of adjust course and stuff relatively together. And it's been actually kind of crazy that we've been within radio contact throughout the entire 6-day period. And you know, sometimes we'd go a day and a half without seeing each other, but we'd always kind of have each other on the AIS and stuff. So it was pretty cool that we managed to sort of pull that off, and it was really nice sailing in company and sometimes virtual company. Yeah, it made for a really fun sail. Dude, this is beautiful!
After 6 nights at sea, dropping the anchor meant we had officially made it. Chili immediately stretched her legs and we let Nakama's engine call it a day.
That is the best sound in the world. We're in, folks. We made it. We made it.
We got in with a bit of afternoon to spare and we were all desperate to stretch our legs, so we didn't waste any time heading ashore. And boy, does this new state feel good.
We made it! Look at this.
Cheers!
Cheers, guys.
Good job. Congratulations, everyone.
Good riddance, WA. G'day, South Australia.
Welcome to South Australia.
I'm so glad we're in a new state. Well, if I'm that excited to see land after 5 days, imagine how excited I'm going to be when I see land when I've been out at sea for 35 to 45 days. I'm dropping by here. We are in Blairgowrie, a little suburb town just out of Melbourne, and we are only a few miles from the start line of the Melbourne to Osaka yacht race, which is starting tomorrow, which is Monday, the 17th of March. We were meant to start today, the 16th of March, but as you can see, it's a little bit windy. It's actually a gale warning today, so it got postponed a day, which has given me a little bit of time to finalize this video. And yeah, it will be the last video you'll probably see of us for a few weeks. And when I say a few weeks, I do mean probably around 5 to 6 weeks, as Mum and I will be sailing to Japan. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, yeah, my mum and I are going to be double-handed sailing to Japan in the Melbourne to Osaka yacht race. It's a 5,500 nautical mile race, and yeah, it's a big one. So we're going to be away for a little bit, but we will be providing a few updates here and there. So make sure you're following us on social media, Instagram and Facebook at Sailing Nakama. We are really also wanting to do live streams with our Patreons. So we welcome you over to our Patreon community to receive those perks while we're underway as well. And cheers to our patrons, as always, for making each video possible. Yeah, we really want to give them, you know, a little extra something. So we're hoping the live streams will work while we're underway. Yeah, otherwise, there will be a tracker. I'll leave the link for that in the description below. And honestly, I might just leave more details in the description box below as well for you to have a look. There's a lot to mention, and right now I still haven't packed my clothes away and organized myself for this race. We've been definitely pushed for time and we're a little bit disorganized, so I really need to get back into organizing myself. So I'm gonna leave you there for the moment. I really hope you enjoyed our bight crossing. It might be a really weird place to leave you guys, but we will pick up where we left you. And yeah, just know that Nakama has been moored safely and securely for us to leave her for a little bit while we do all this craziness aboard Fika, which is the boat I'm currently on. So anyway, there's more to come on that. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, stay tuned for some Osaka updates from now on and over the next few weeks. 5 to 6 weeks approximately. Alrighty guys, we'll catch you shortly. We'll keep you in the loop and wish us luck. Oh my god. Bye guys, lots of love.